Fitzpatrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to the Jet Take podcast. I'm your host, Ben Blessington. A lot to dissect tonight. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Jets' Week 2 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. A very frustrating loss for the New York Jets, so we'll be breaking that down. And it's obviously a much different game than their first game of the season against the Lions. But as it is Wednesday night, tomorrow night, the Jets will be taking on the Cleveland Browns. So in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Jeff Lloyd, who is a Browns insider. We'll be breaking down that matchup with him. And as always, we'll be just talking about all the craziness that goes on at one Jets drive. So without further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Money, Kyle Fahey. Kyle, how you doing, man?
There are a lot of times when you question things in life, like coaches and wide receivers and your whole fucking team. And that was last Sunday. I'm not happy. I don't think anybody's really happy right now. We're hoping tomorrow's like recovery. You know, we're going through withdrawals right now. Not going to make a Demi Lovato joke, but you know it's there for me. But just not a good game overall. And I think now is the best time to reach towards the Lord, and I'm going to pull up a Bible verse. Hold up, I'm Googling a Bible verse.
What? No, you're not.
Romans 12:12.
No,
Let your hope keep you joyful.
What
Be patient in your troubles and pray at all times.
This was not. What?
During the intro, I was Googling Bible verses about patience with the Jets because
I was proud of you.
I need God.
I was like, okay, there you go. There was at least tied back to the Jets. Yeah, not an amazing game for the Jets, but I will say I was significantly less frustrated. Okay, hold on. Let me just say this, and then I'll let you rant a little bit, and then Jeff will join us in about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I will say I wasn't as disappointed, I guess. Like, I was frustrated.
Yes.
But it wasn't like the last time the Jets had a big, a triumphant game where everybody felt good was, I guess, last year, Jets Bills Thursday Night Football. The Jets defense was dancing or whatever. And then, typical of a Todd Bowles team, they came out the next week, or I guess they had a bye, but they came out the next game and laid a flat, just a complete stinker, just a complete egg. It looked terrible the entire game and just deflated all of the positivity that they had. While the Jets came out flat this game, it wasn't like that Tampa Bay game. And I believe it was Chris Nimbley said this. The Jets played for about 85% of that game a pretty good ball game. They played a good game. I mean, you think about it, they had 4 sacks. Friend of the podcast, Chris Nimbley. They had 4 sacks. They had 2 interceptions. Darnold threw for 350-plus yards. I mean, Enunwa made some great plays. I mean, for the most part, they were positive things to take away from this game. It wasn't all, wow, we suck in every phase of the game. But that 15% was so bad that we lost the game by 8 points. I'll start with the positives. I was pleased with Sam Darnold's performance. While there are the 2 interceptions, and if you were just to look at some of those plays, you think, wow, Sam Darnold had a rough game. I mean, I've seen that throughout the media this week. Sam Darnold, we got to pump the brakes on him. I'll say this: for the most part, he arguably looked more impressive on Sunday.
Yes.
And debate me on that. But he threw for more yards. While he had 1 less touchdown and another interception. 1, he got no help from his offensive line. He got no help from his running backs. And I thought he just looked more comfortable. He looked good. I mean, yes, the first interception was bad, but that was a rookie mistake. When he threw it, I was just like, rookies are going to rookie.
It happens.
But I'll say, but unlike Mark Sanchez or Geno Smith, he came back and was able to, after the interceptions, actually kind of when he started to get going, when he was getting 20-yard completions to Quincy Enunwa or the Terrell Pryor run right before the half, his team let him down. Specifically, that Terrell Pryor interception, and don't worry, we're going to get in your boy Terrell Pryor here in a bit. That interception was not on Sam Darnold. And I'll say not on Sam Darnold. I would say I give Sam Darnold 10% of the blame. While part of me is like, maybe you shouldn't throw that in that scenario, maybe more of that blame would go in the play calling, less Sam Darnold. If you look at the All-22, when he decides to cock the ball and throw it, don't make a joke, Terrell Pryor that's the matchup you go to. While Robbie Anderson starts to streak open, and maybe that was the place you could go, that's the only reason I would give Sam Darnold some of that blame. Terrell Pryor has the matchup, has the inside, no safety there, or no extra help there. He's going to be open. Sam Darnold throws it to the spot that he's supposed to be, and Terrell Pryor, gives up on the route. I guess he just expected him not to throw it to him. But if you look, if Sam Darnold's if Terrell Pryor is inside the corner like he should be, that's a touchdown. He gives up on the route and gives the corner an easy interception. And I'll say this. He didn't even do anything to try to, stop the interception. I don't know. Terrell Pryor, I don't think he deserves all the hate that he was getting, this week, because I think some people were getting on about the interception, and I know he ran a few lazy routes or whatnot and is afraid of contact, but for the most part he added some good parts. He had that great completion right before half. He had a nice third down, and so I don't think Terrell Pryor was horrible. He was exactly what I expected him to be. Now, Kyle, we can talk about in about 10 minutes about why he is definitely actually, let me just talk about it now, because I don't want to come back to this. Can you finally just admit he's not the best receiver on this team? Can you? I know you made the claim, and you don't want to go back on it. And Kyle, I've made
plenty. That should have been a fucking touchdown for one. All right.
It wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of anybody else, Kyle. It was because of your stupid. Look, I've made plenty of stupid takes on the show. But I try to always admit when I'm wrong. But I'll say this, Kyle. You cannot have possibly watched that game, the game before, any film beforehand, and say that Quincy Enunwa is not a better receiver than Terrell Pryor. Quincy Enunwa is more valuable to this team. He's a better receiver. Terrell Pryor is coming up on 30 and is about what I expected him to be. He's an average wide receiver. I like what he brings. He has some nice positive qualities. But no, he's not the best wide receiver. I wouldn't take him over Quincy Enunwa. I wouldn't take him over Robbie Anderson. I wouldn't take him over Jermaine Kearse. Everybody listening to this podcast agrees with me, Kyle. For the most part, maybe some people are arguing whether they take Jermaine Kearse or not, whatever. But for the most part, everybody agrees that he's not the best receiver on this team. I think you just said it to make a flamboyant statement, and now you're just trying to back it up. But can you finally just admit on the podcast so we can let it drop, or we can let it die, and we will never bring it up again? Can you finally admit that Terrell Pryor is not the best wide receiver on the team?
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm just going to keep bringing it up every week. Anyway, sorry, back to the positives. No, Sam Darnold looked good, though, for the most part. He had the interception. He had, a few, the throw. I believe it was towards the end of the half where he threw it to Rob. It might have been towards the end of the half. He basically threw it to Robbie and, like a 3-yard route to the flat, and it was just man coverage and a completely bad throw that could have been picked off for a touchdown. But luckily, Robbie kind of got in there, and it wasn't. The plays at the end of the half, I don't blame that as much on him. He hit the open guy. I think Herndon should have gotten into the end zone. I'll say this. If you're going to throw that type of route, because, I can understand Jeremy Bates being like, look, I know we have to throw it into the end zone. We don't have a timeout. But if you're going to throw that, you want to make sure Quincy Enunwa is the guy that's catching it at the 2 and has to get those extra 2 yards. Because that's the risk, is exactly what happened. You threw it to your rookie tight end, who, by the way, this is his first look at extended action, and he got popped twice at the 2-yard line and didn't get in. But I didn't particularly hate the throw by Sam Darnold. I know it's always like, just throw it to the end zone, throw it away, or take your points. And he didn't. He threw it right, to the 5-yard line or whatever. But it looked like Herndon should have gotten in, and he didn't. So, anyways, my point is Sam Darnold, I actually say, impressed me a lot. My hype on him actually didn't not die down. I enjoyed watching the game because I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed watching him come back from his interception and from some of the mistakes that his team made. On the other side, again, Quincy Enunwa looked fantastic. I think he's going to be an integral part of this Jets team throughout the next few years. Hopefully, as they're making playoff runs or whatnot, he's just such a special player. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're hearing Quincy Enunwa's names in Pro Bowls in the future. He's just that type of player. Outside of that, I wouldn't say there was much else to love from the offense. We'll come back to the negatives in a second. Defensively, they did a good job getting after a quarterback. And don't worry, Kyle, I'm going to give you plenty of time to speak before Jeff Lloyd gets on. For a team that doesn't have an edge rusher, I thought they did a good job getting 4 sacks. Brandon Copeland looked good. I was surprised that Jeremy Atuchu hasn't played. He played week 1 and looked relatively good.
Wait. Say it again.
Jeremy Atuchu, did I mess it up?
That's not even fucking close.
I swear I looked at the pronunciation on the pronunciation guide for the game, and it was Atuchu.
It's Atuchu.
Atuchu and Itachu aren't even close, really, Kyle? All right. fine.
No.
If it's Itachi, it's Itachi. My apologies, Kyle. Not even close. One letter off. So I'm surprised they didn't play him. Darren Lee again looked good.
Nope, can't make that. Damn it.
Darren Lee again once again looked good. Didn't have his 2 interceptions or whatever. Wasn't as flashy, but again looked good in coverage. Played well against the run again. So continuing his hot start. He's the highest graded PFF linebacker so far this season. And then outside of that, I think Jamal Adams, again, looked great until that one Frank Gore play. Outside of that, Jamal Adams played a pretty great game again, getting after Ryan Tannehill and getting that. I believe Ryan Tannehill fumbled on that play, right? But he recovered it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe he did it. So outside of that, I would say, and then Tremaine Johnson looked all right. And so that's probably all the positives I can say about this game. But the Jets played an all right game. Now, as far as the negatives, 0 running game. I mean, Isaiah Crowell and Bilal Powell did absolutely nothing. I don't know, maybe you blame that on the play calling. They didn't really set it up as much. You can blame it on the offensive line, probably more so, and that's the next point I was going to get to. Offensive line looked terrible. This was my biggest fear coming into the game. I think the Jets are aided by the fact that Darnold is great when things break down. He's great throwing on the run. If you had a guy that was more like a Josh Rosen, who I am a fan of, but who was more of an in-the-pocket, type of passer, I think you'd be seeing, the rookie quarterback numbers much lower. Because think about all the yards and all the completions and even touchdowns that have come when the play has broken down and that he's gotten out of the pocket and thrown a beautiful dime on the run. If he was a guy that couldn't really do that, was more needed some space in the pocket and then could throw some dimes, he wouldn't really have the time. So offensive line looked terrible. And the running game just got going, didn't get going at all, which I'm kind of bummed about because I was excited off of Week 1's performance. Tight ends are kind of a meh. I like some of the things that Chris Herndon did. I know you're going to complain about, obviously the big drop. Sorry. I'll say the big drop was a killer, and obviously that play at the end of the half sucks. But again, I don't necessarily blame him as much as I blame the play calling there. I think if you're going to have that, again, you have to have a guy like Quincy Nunwa in there. Otherwise, throw it in the end zone. And then obviously the biggest disappointment on offense, outside of the offensive line, the receivers look terrible. Outside of Quincy Nunwa, nobody was getting open. Pryor was the second most productive, was getting open at times and stuff, but really just doesn't embrace contact very well, gives up on some routes, obviously had the boneheaded interception. Jermaine Kearse was a non-factor. He probably played like 2 snaps. And Robbie Anderson, as we said 2 weeks ago, this isn't a surprise that Robbie isn't making an immediate impact. I saw somebody today, I think it was Paulie Bruzzi, I don't want to mess up his last name, because apparently Kyle's a stickler about that, had said he would be surprised if or he could see the Jets keeping Pryor and Enunwa and not Pryor and Anderson, which I don't think is right because, one, Robbie's a restricted free agent, so he's going to be on this team in 2019 because the Jets will put a tender on him. But, two, as we said, Darnold's strengths right now are kind of the short, intermediate, passing, and Robbie's strength is the deep ball. And so until they get that chemistry, you have to remember Josh McCown and Robbie didn't get that chemistry towards the middle of the season. So again, I'm not surprised that Robbie's kind of not been involved as much in the beginning weeks of this offense. Hopefully over, towards midseason, he'll develop a rapport with Sam Darnold. I put it on Jeremy Bates though, because, Robbie, as far as getting Robbie involved, because Robbie has a very talented skill set. And while he is very, very good at the deep ball, that's not necessarily something they're going to run right now because Darnold's accuracy in the deep ball isn't amazing. I think Jeremy Bates needs to find a way to utilize Robbie Anderson because he's a talented player. He needs to utilize him in a way that can fit Sam Darnold's skill set. So whether those are, just getting him in space and utilizing his speed, drag routes or comeback routes or something just to get him open and get him the ball and get him involved just to start to develop that rapport. I think that's what Jeremy Bates is going to try to aim during these next few weeks. And then hopefully towards the end of the season, Darnold is comfortable enough with that deep ball that he can hit it. So as far as the offense, not great, but I'm still encouraged by Sam Darnold. I'll speed up on the defense because Jeff Lloyd's coming on soon. I've been rambling for a while. Defensively, they actually played a pretty great game. Maybe I should say pretty good game for 90% of it. Had a few, moments, especially that last drive where Ryan Tannehill was just getting out of the pocket and running on him. The boneheaded 3rd and 17, couldn't get a stop. Buster screen, looked terrible and is consistently getting holding penalties on third down. Kenyon Drake had a big day, but I'll say this. I think the defense played pretty well, and that's the kind of the defense that I've been expecting them. I don't think they're an all-world defense, but I think they're a pretty good defense. That's the defense that's right around 10 or 11. If the offense was playing any better, if the running game would get going, if Darnold didn't have a few of those turnovers, I think we'd be talking about how great of a performance that was from the defense. I don't think the defense can carry the team completely, but I think if they got a little bit of a running game going and Darnold can limit the turnovers, a la 2009 Jets game plan, I think you could see the defense really be an emphasis on this team. But when you're put in a position where they're just always on the field, those penalties happen, and those mental lapses happen. But overall, I was fine. I was I don't want to say impressed, but I was happy with the defense. I was content with the defense. I was happy with Darnold. I was happy with Enunwa and hated pretty much everything else. So yeah, that would be my thoughts on the game. I don't think it's a complete disaster for the Jets. This is what the season's about, is giving Sam Darnold reps. But I don't think it was beautiful. As you said, Kyle, I think it's necessary. But it's going to be a big test week 3 to see how the Jets kind of respond to this. Because after week 1, my expectations did go up for this team after we saw what they can do. So we'll see what they do tomorrow. But Kyle, your thoughts on week 1 or week 2?
Well, I have 3 minutes to rant about everything.
You can go for a little longer. I mean,
well, no, Jeff's calling in at 9, so.
Calling in at 9:05.
No, he's probably calling in.
My apologies. I'll just get going and we'll manage the call. So my apologies.
So you guys are only going to get the negatives, and we'll start with who's on my shit list for this week, because there are a couple people who are on there. I'll start with Todd Bowles, and this is not in order of who is most on my shit list. I'm just going to think of guys that come to my head. Todd Bowles' time management towards the end of the half, right before Herndon didn't reach the end zone. First of all, take your 3. It changes the game in many ways. It puts the Jets in a better position down the line. It basically makes up for the extra point that we missed in a way. You know what I mean? You have to know that no timeouts, rookie quarterback, no matter how much you trust Sam, there is a possibility where he is going to take what the defense is going to give him, and in that scenario, they will give you the 5-yard drop-off very close to the end zone, but not letting you into the end zone. Every day of the week, they will give you that. They are going to put, I think they had 7 guys in the end zone and only 4 rushers. That's not by accident. That is by design. They left the middle of the field open for an easy target to run the clock down, knowing the Jets had no timeouts. And Sam Darnold, being the rookie that he is, took it instead of just throwing away or taking a shot at the end zone that he wanted. Now, what I will say, it was a nice throw, and I do think Chris Herndon should have done a better job getting in. I think he also fumbled intentionally to give himself a better shot, just didn't do it. Dumb overall from everybody on the Jets staff to give Sam Darnold the opportunity to mess up. The one thing about a rookie quarterback is you can't put them in scenarios that they are likely to fail in. That's just not good coaching. And that's not even for rookie quarterbacks, just your team in general. Take your 3 points, go into the half with good morale on your side, and a better scoreboard for yourself. Instead, you walk out of that drive, which was a very nice drive by Sam Darnold, with 0 points, and the Dolphins' defense goes in hyped up. There's absolutely no plus to not taking the 3 points there. What are you trying to prove? I mean, it just super pissed me off. Chris Herndon, I already mentioned the 2 cases. We both mentioned the 2 cases. Not getting out of bounds. That pissed me off so bad. I don't care if you're a rookie. You know what the game situation is. He pulled a J.R. Smith, basically. Get out of bounds. You were on the sideline. All he had to do was step 2 inches over, and the clock stops, and then the Jets are never in that scenario at the goal line where we run out of time because we have an extra timeout. That's just stupid players. That eventually goes back to coaching somewhere along the line with awareness and stuff. If you're out of bounds late in the quarter or late in the half, whatever you want to call it, get out of bounds. You got the catch. You got the first down. Get out of bounds. Don't take the hit. Get out of bounds. Stop the time. And then not getting in because, honestly, I don't know how he didn't get in. I mean, I feel like you could have walked in there after you fumbled it. All he had to do was dive, and he didn't dive. So Bowles and Herndon both on my shit list. Buster Screen. Every time we play the Dolphins, Buster Screen messes up in some way or another. How many holding penalties did he have? And Jeff Lloyd, unmuted. That's my bad. I didn't.
What a rookie mistake. That was totally.
Well.
What a rookie mistake, Jeff.
That's a rookie mistake. I like how Jeff. I like how Jeff laughs at Buster Screen because he is laughable at this point.
He has screamers at Brown too.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff probably knows a little bit about. Well, I don't think Jeff was covering the Browns then, but I think everybody knows a little about Buster Screen here and there.
Rookie mistake not to mute we're not doing callers tonight, and
the one guy we had to mute,
put it on mute.
we didn't mute. But
it was fine. All we heard was laugh. It was funny.
So 3 holding penalties, I think, at least 2 of them for first downs, and then he gave up a couple catches, always against the Dolphins, where he just performs poorly. I don't know if he's allergic to dolphins or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's got to stop at the end of the day. It's just not good play from him when we play Miami. I don't care if it's a mental block. It's just another team, dude. Every other game, you're so-so, and sometimes you're actually good. But against the Dolphins, you cost us big time. Who else is on my shit list for this week? I didn't like some of Jeremy Bates' play calling. I think some of the scenarios he put Darnold in was a little unfair.
How so?
The offensive line in general. And
wait, I want to kind of talk about Bates because I didn't necessarily agree. I agree on the play calling at the end of the half. Really just that one play was if you're going to throw that route, you need a Nunwa there. That was my big thing on Bates. How do you think he just didn't establish the run as well? Or because when you say something like you're blaming Jeremy Bates, he's on your shit list, like why? I mean,
well, I was trying to speed it up to get Jeff on because he's a busy man. But to quickly explain it, Ben, obviously at the end of the half was not fantastic. I think we saw the screenplay at least 6 times. It worked 2 times, which I will give him credit for. You know, it is going to work eventually, but at some point you have to realize that, hey, the Dolphins are going to pick that up, and they did most of the time, and it didn't work half the time. I think some of the run designs were pretty poor, just how the guards were set up the pool and basically run into Isaiah Crowell. I know guys were slipping all over the field, but we saw it multiple times where Crowell couldn't even get out of the backfield, and that's primarily because of where the guards were supposed to be, weren't able to be there, and I think overall you have to know the athleticism of your offensive line. James Carpenter, who at this point in his career, I think is still a good guard, but isn't the most athletic person anymore. I think he's 28 now, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. He's lost a step, and I think that's something Joe Blewett has talked about a lot this offseason on how Carpenter is not athletic enough to run with Jeremy Bates and Rick Dennison, who is our run game coordinator. Or Rick Dennison, right?
Offensive line coach?
Yeah, offensive line / run game coordinator. I think they need to realize that sometimes you can't just absolutely run the plays you want to, even though you don't have the guys. I don't care if it's your system. The best coaches work the best players into their system. I think Carpenter is a good guard who just right now isn't being played to his strength, and, you know, that will probably lead to him being cut down the road, obviously not in the middle of the season or anything, but probably at the end of this year. So Bates, just that, and I was going to tie that into the offensive line play in general. It wasn't fantastic. Robert Quinn took advantage of friend of the podcast, Kelvin Beachum, all damn night. I think Brandon Shell held his own for the most part. I think he gave up 1 sack, but it wasn't the massacre as Travis Wingfield would have liked to put it when it came to Cam Wake and Brandon Shell. We didn't take advantage of their linebackers either, just to throw that in there. And Kiko Alonso is a joke of an NFL player. In my mind, and Jerome Baker.
He's the Jake Paul of NFL players. And I think that was
I saw that tweet. That was pretty funny. You didn't get a retweet out of me, though. Try again next time. And then Jerome Baker and Raquan McMillan, you know, they're young guys who I don't expect to be able to run with Quincy Nunwa and Terrell Pryor and Jermaine Kearse, who, and last thing before we get to Jeff, where the hell is Jermaine Kearse? I mean, is he just not healthy? I mean, that guy is a good receiver. Put him on the field. He is a guaranteed catch in the middle of the field and can spread it wide.
Especially for a rookie. Sorry to cut you off, but especially for a rookie quarterback. I mean,
it's a security blanket, and we don't have that at tight end right now, which is where you usually look for that.
Yeah, he's your safest pair of hands. I mean, Nunwa has become a very reliable target for Darnold, as clearly as you can see from the distribution of Darnold's passes. You can see that Nunwa is by far his favorite receiver.
Target.
But Kearse was a guy that I was like, this is going to be great for a rookie quarterback. Not only is he a veteran who's been there and won a Super Bowl, but he's a guy that, you know, slot receiver, over the middle, safe pair of hands, reliable. I thought he was going to be Darnold's safety blanket. And he's just got not healthy is what I would guess from his one catch for -1 yard performance. Yeah. Also, I don't mean to say anything. Jermaine Kearse isn't the guy to be throwing a bubble screen to. He's more of the guy you throw the slant, the drag, you know, the curl route to. But you know, who knows? Anyways, let's go ahead and get on Jeff Lloyd, who's been making the rounds on Jets podcasts this week. So
he's a Jets podcast whore this week. It's amazing.
Yeah, the Podfather's getting around, host of Locked On Browns podcast, and does a lot of great work covering the Browns there. And I think that's probably why everybody has gone to him, because I will say, I mean, while I'm not a Browns
it's a finesse
fan,
by him. I might just do that, Ben. I might just leave this podcast and go to, like, I don't know, like the Titans podcasting network, or like just go break down Titans film. I mean, Cleveland was like untapped territory, and Jeff just went from like a very well-known Jets fan to like the Cleveland guru in like 2 seconds. I mean, I know Cleveland has relatively low standards as a city in general, but I mean, Jeff just finessed them. Made a whole career out of it in like a month. It's amazing.
You know, it's been a few months, but yeah, no, I will say, I mean, while I'm not a Browns fan, I feel like I do know what's going on.
I know everything about the Browns.
Yeah, I know what's going on with
I didn't even need Hard Knocks to know who was getting cut.
All right, well, without further ado, we'll bring on Jeff.
Bring him on.
Jeff, thank you for joining the podcast. As you can tell, it's already crazy. How you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. Yeah, it's been a trip. Actually, some of these shows, like when I originally committed to them, I completely did not keep in mind that it was a 3-day week before the game was being played. And my wife's just like, what are you doing? I was like, look, all right, look, Friday night, we'll go out to dinner. Don't worry about it. It's good. I don't have anything to worry about. But it's been a crazy week, but it's been fun. I mean, look, and here's two teams kind of at the same spot now. They kind of think like they have most of their ducks in a row. The Browns, obviously, a couple of things they still need. The Jets, obviously, you know, they've needed an edge rusher for, 17, 18 years, which is basically all of your guys' lives.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's still things these teams need. But it's going to be cool that these two teams get to play tomorrow night in front of everyone because, you know, everybody has the jokes about the Jets. Obviously, the Browns, the jokes are endless. But there's a lot of talent on both these teams, and I'm hoping that's what everybody nationally is going to get to take away from tomorrow night, that these teams aren't as far away as people think they truly are, and maybe, hopefully, the jokes will slowly subside.
No, exactly. I think when most, you know, when the average NFL fan sees, if Thursday Night Football, Jets versus Browns, you know, that's a snooze fest, I'm not going to watch it. I mean, that's just an unknowledgeable take. I mean, you're right. I think both these teams have exciting futures. While, you know, the coaching on both the teams can be questioned. I mean, obviously, Jets fans have to love what they've seen from Sam Darnold, and obviously, you know, Browns fans love from what they saw from Baker Mayfield in the preseason. You know, and whenever he gets into the game, I think we're going to be, you know, excited to see two young quarterbacks playing well in this league. But yeah, I think, you know, when you're at the bottom of the league for so long, you keep accumulating these top draft picks and whatnot. I mean, hopefully at some point, I mean, I guess Cleveland's been at the cellar for a while. At some point, you can turn it around. I like John Dorsey as a GM. And so, yeah, I mean, I like cheering for other underdogs. So on Thursday night, I won't be cheering for the Browns. But in general, I'm happy for the Browns to have some sort of success. I guess I will say, I mean, it was either going to be the Browns or the Jets to snap a long losing streak with a tie. But I guess on that note, Jeff, I'll open it up.
Browns fans get to drink some stale Bud Light because the Jets suck, I might just have to hang myself.
I will say I don't want to be the team that gives the Browns their first win.
No,
like
the memes will not end.
Oh, I will. They play the Raiders the next week, correct? Yeah, they do. So can just John Gruden take that?
There's
I mean,
he's
already. Yeah.
Raiders suck. Oh my God, they're
the
so
Browns
bad.
are going to get their first win soon enough. So why don't we just give it to the Raiders and keep the Jets?
You know what this is,
Ben?
This is a classic homecoming and prom scenario. You're going to get close on homecoming, but prom's when you're going to round third. That's when it's going to happen.
Just going to be quiet for that one. All right, Jeff.
See,
I don't even know how to
Jeff likes my joke.
Jeff's just awkwardly laughing so the podcast doesn't get silent because I wasn't going to give you anything on that. But Jeff, I don't know how to segue out of that. But I was going to ask you your thoughts on how the Browns have opened their first.
Damn it, I had a segue.
Okay, well, I was going to ask your thoughts on how the Browns have opened their season, their first two games, obviously a tie against the Steelers, and then played the Saints very well and arguably and probably should have, if not for Zane Gonzalez, won against the Saints in week 2. So just your overall thoughts on how the Browns have done through 2 weeks.
Offensively, it's not really been pretty, but I do agree. I mean, and to be honest, the Browns could easily be 2-0. But what you talk about when any young team and when you're rebuilding a roster is, first things first, you want to get the guys in tow that you think can get it done. The Browns have done this, but now it's the question of, do these guys know how to win? And that's the question that's still to be determined. Obviously, they had a shot against Pittsburgh. Obviously, they had a shot against New Orleans. Granted, now they're going to move on from this kicker and Zane Gonzalez. I mean, that was just the worst thing you'd ever want to see. Maybe it's the dad in me, but my God, that poor dude. I mean, it's just, and
best
whether
kicker
he was
in
injured
college
or not,
history, statistically.
yes. Whether or not he was injured or whatever, I mean, because that could be the Browns thing. Is who cares about your groin? Go ahead, you miss a whole bunch of kicks. Kick a 52-yarder. I mean, if you knew the kid's leg was hurting and he was in a bad spot, maybe just throw a Hail Mary. Try something in that scenario. Who knows? They already did it once in New Orleans. But I do think that there's a lot here. I mean, defensive line is solid. I think there's enough skill position guys. I do question whether or not this quarterback is any different than the Tyrod Taylor we've seen for the last 5 or 6 years. He's a good athlete, but he takes a lot of sacks. He throws interceptions. You've got a guy you drafted 1 overall that you basically have all your marbles in, who's kind of watching, wearing a baseball hat, so it's interesting that way. But look, I think this is a very, very winnable game for them. And I do, from both sides, I can see this. I think it's a very winnable game for them because I think their defense can control this game. But we're going to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that the Browns are one of those teams where I watched them week 1, and I was impressed. I mean, I was impressed with that defense, so much so that I actually picked up I picked them up in fantasy football. So, we didn't pick up Michael Kendricks. We'll talk about actually.
He got a tip, so that's why he went and picked up the Browns. Just like Michael Kendricks was nice enough to give him a tip.
Well,
I'll give Ben a tip. I'll tell you that.
All right.
How could you have all that money and you went to Cal Berkeley and not realize what you were just getting yourself into? The whole thing of it.
Oh, he had to have known what he was getting himself into.
I read it.
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
And you want to know
he's on the Seahawks right now too.
Yep. Well, the worst part is call your friends from Cal who are inventing medicine and say, hey, does anybody need $10,000? I mean, there was a clean way to invest the money. You didn't have to do it a dirty way.
I mean, from what I read, he didn't even try to cover up the tracks. It was almost like a toddler when they break a cookie jar. It was like, did you do it? No, it wasn't me. Wasn't me. You sure?
Well, they had cookie crumbs on their face. Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't good for him. I'll tell you that. I still want the Jets to sign him now.
Well,
we'll see. After he does his Martha Stewart 28 months, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, another former Brown, I guess, who also got into some trouble in the past few years, Josh Gordon, officially off the Cleveland Browns. Jeff, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. While this isn't the Browns' take, he's certainly a guy that the Jets won't have to guard on Thursday night.
No, we'll just have to wait 2 weeks until we play New England, and then 8 weeks after that. Yeah,
it's not. We don't have to play until November and then January.
We play them week 6, don't we?
No, what? No,
we play them after the Jags.
No,
right?
No. For the Broncos, then the Vikings, and then the Colts.
Am I just so off on this?
Yeah.
Yikes. Welcome to the Jets.
We play the Patriots the weekend of Thanksgiving, so that Sunday, and then we play again to close the season. Sorry. Anyways, back to Jeff. Your thoughts on the Josh Gordon situation? Kind of what I kind of just want your take on it as our Browns insider.
No, the thing for me and I was kind of going through this in the preseason camp when he said he wasn't going to do camp, he wasn't going to do preseason games, and I did a lot of shows and I angered some Browns fans. But the problem is when's enough enough?
You angered people?
I mean, look. No, go figure. Yes.
Yeah.
But the problem was when is enough is enough. I mean, and I think what the pushing point came, and this may have showed up in the Saints game because I do think that some of their game plan going into the Saints game look, we just watched Ryan Fitzpatrick light this team up, throwing deep ball after deep ball. And you look at the Browns, not a lot of guys there who are established as deep route runners. Who was the guy who could have blown that game out of the water for them? It could have been Josh Gordon. And shows up, hamstring, this, that, and the other thing. And the most Browns thing ever is they put out, he's not going to travel, he's not going to travel, he's not going to travel. And Josh Gordon was in that. They put out a generic tweet. And it was like, well, what do you do? What do you mean Josh Gordon's not traveling and he's hurt? Because, the Browns, they don't realize, how anything's ever going to escalate. But I was aggravated because now you've given this guy so many opportunities, and now you have a new front office, and there's nobody in this building who's associated with Josh Gordon, not the head coach, not the front office. None of these guys brought Josh Gordon in, so why do you keep catering it to him? And I think when what went down Saturday, and the hamstring, and and he couldn't play, and then the eventual release is you look at your roster and you say, you know what, we've got guys who are better players, who are more consistent, and we don't care that Josh Gordon had a phenomenal 2013 anymore. And it was a tough pill to swallow because, look, Josh Gordon, he's the ultimate mystery box for anybody who watches Family Guy. He could be Jerry Rice. He could be
a box. Yeah.
Or he could be a box. Exactly. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, and look, New England, this could be 2 days, this could be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. But, Bill's always going to take a gamble. The Randy Moss ones are a joke because, Randy Moss played football every year and kicked everybody's ass every year. So it's funny how it's going to work out that way. But, at the end of the day, I think the Browns are going to be better off. I mean, you can develop some young guys, and I hate to say it to you, Kyle, Antonio Callaway is a guy who deserves to get, get some reps. He deserves it.
Boom.
Here's the guy.
Fuck it.
He's a guy with the trouble. He's a guy with a troubled past.
Okay, can I defend him?
Committed.
Josh Gordon Jr.
Can I defend him? No,
how the hell are you going to defend him?
Okay, for one, the credit card scam is genius. This is better financial advice than Carl Nassib and Michael Kendricks put together. This dude took the university credit card and quote-unquote bought books and then resold them. That's called profit right there. That is smart. Now, he may have stolen an iPhone on top of it. That I can't come up with an excuse for, except I don't know. He wanted an iPhone. I don't really care. And then I don't really care about people smoking weed. I know the NFL does, and I know that the common NFL viewer might have some problems with it just based off the demographics and the age group, and maybe Nancy Reagan lying about it. But I don't really care about the things Antonio Callaway did because he didn't pull a Ray Lewis, he didn't pull a Ray Rice, and he didn't pull a Matt Prater or a Dylan Donahue. So as far as I'm concerned, he has not committed one of the deadly sins in my mind. You can continue being on my football team, and he was my number one wide receiver if all those red flags weren't on there. It's simple as that. So I'm defending Antonio Callaway.
Fair enough.
I tried to throw your boy a bone, and you turned into Johnny Cochran.
Well, okay, Jeff. Actually,
I have no idea what that means.
Jeff, I just realized you don't understand the Johnny Cochran reference.
No.
Kyle, I'm like a year old. We both weren't. Okay, O.J. Simpson.
Ooh, wait. Can you explain it first before you criticize me?
O.J. Simpson.
He was O.J. Simpson's lawyer. He's the lead lawyer of his dream team.
Oh, yeah, the guy they make fun of on Seinfeld. Okay, when I think O.J. Simpson lawyer, I think Rob Kardashian.
Oh no, he was a puppet in the whole thing. He was the face.
Yeah, except his daughter. But think about it from Kyle's perspective. He's grown up with the Kardashians.
Ben, so have you. Ben, don't act like you haven't watched the video.
Yeah, but I understood
Jeff,
that
you
reference.
too. Don't act like you haven't watched the video. I know we all have.
She's not my taste. I like Courtney.
It's like Courtney, yeah.
Those are facts.
Give me Kendall. I like Kendall.
Well, guys, I'm older, so I want the
Jeff.
I want the one with the kids.
Jeff, don't comment on that. For one, you're married. Two, that may be a felony. I'm not sure how old she is.
Like 21, she's fine. Okay. Anyways,
Courtney
on the clock.
Courtney Kardashian's almost like 37. I'm good, guys. I'm good.
No, but Ben said Kendall. I agree. Courtney's the skinny one.
The ugly one?
No, Courtney's the really skinny one. That was very
I was thinking of Chloe. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Chloe's attractive. If she wasn't doing coke.
No, she's not. No,
she's not.
I love what we're talking
she's
about.
She's OJ's daughter anyway.
On a jet.
Yeah, she definitely is. Wait, so does Ben not like thick girls?
No, I have no problem with it. I have a problem with girls who are like 99% plastic and don't look attractive either way.
I mean, it's going to be 100% plastic when you put one on, but you don't like your neck broken?
I don't even, Kyle, I'm too tired. I'm getting used to this East Coast time. I don't even know how to respond. I'm sorry. I've been here for a month, and I'm tired. I don't even know how to transition. Kyle, oh, God. Okay, Jeff, anyways, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the Jets versus Browns. Let's talk quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor playing over Baker Mayfield. I mean, obviously, after the success that Sam Darnold has had through 2 weeks, kind of what are your thoughts on Baker sitting on the bench and, obviously not active for this game? As a fan of football, I would have loved to see Baker versus Darnold in that Week 3 matchup. Kyle, please, for the love of God,
No. I just saw a tweet. It says Vontae Davis is a game time decision according to the Bills for Week 3 on their official release.
I'm going to say that's a no. Yeah,
I don't think
it's doubtful.
Yeah, I hope there's a line on that. I'm about to go put a shit ton of money on that. I'm about to go find that on Sportsbook.
Okay, well, the one thing is, I will say, I think I have a better shot of playing an NFL game Sunday before Vontae Davis. But no, going back to the quarterback thing, the question here, and look, I'm kind of clamoring for it because the one reason they said, we want to play, we're going to play Tyrod Taylor, was they talked about winning games. But Tyrod Taylor, he looks and he's playing like a rookie quarterback. He's taking sacks he doesn't need to take. He's throwing key interceptions. He got baited by a second-year player in Marcus Williams last Sunday. Marcus Williams is a good player, but he totally baited in by him into an interception late in the game that provided crucial. So if you're not going to win these games, exactly. But if you're not going to win these games, why don't you not win these games with the guy you do believe is your guy for the next dozen years? The biggest question here is will this front office let Baker Mayfield take a snap for Hugh Jackson? And I don't know if that's going to be the case. Hugh Jackson, a lot of it, and Carlos Hyde plays a lot, and a lot of it is we want to get a win, and I don't give a crap whether or not Hugh Jackson gets a win. He's already won 32-1. I mean, I've already moved on in every aspect from Hugh Jackson. Isn't it time that where Baker Mayfield should play these teams that he's going to play year in and a year out, like the Bengals, like the Ravens, like the Steelers? The guys that you're going to expect him in, basically hope that he beats, so your franchise has success. So and if it does not work out Thursday night, look, you throw the head coach out of the door, and you change your quarterback, and you got 10 days, and you go to Oakland, and you start showing what is not the 2018 Browns, but it's also the 2021 Browns, and the 2023 Browns, and the 2025 Browns.
How soon, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how soon do you think John Dorsey would pull the ripcord on Hugh Jackson? Do you think it's one of those things where he could get, fired in October and then watch Mayfield play the next week?
I don't know if it's exactly... I don't know if it's, I do believe, yes, I agree with you there that I do believe Todd Haley will get the reins. Look, nobody is going to let Greg Williams be a head coach of an NFL franchise again. That's not going to happen. He should just be happy he's got the gig that he's got. So it will be Todd Haley when it's made. I'm not sure if it is so much John Dorsey's call as much as it is the Haslam's. And, look, Jimmy Haslam is a good businessman. The guy has made a lot of money, but he has to understand. He's made a lot of money.
Yes, but wasn't half of that illegal from, Flying J? Wasn't he under, federal investigation for that? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Well, here's the thing. When you're a successful businessman, you hire successful lawyers, so you don't necessarily go down for certain crimes. But he's made a lot of money. And we will see that there is a bottom line here. And here's the thing. Again, now the roster's been changed over 31 out of 53. Your front office is completely new. You have 2 new quarterbacks. There is only one alteration to be made to this to be yet another new picture, and that is kicking Hugh Jackson's ass to the curb. So, look, I mean, if it's 0-2-1 after 1-31, look, enough's enough. Just stop. I mean, the fact that, I don't know if Hugh Jackson is, the friend on the corner that everybody kind of liked that they grew up with, and when you felt bad, you went over and you made sure he was okay. But enough's enough. It's about winning freaking football games.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Browns fan, but I can definitely sense that. And I think Todd Bowles, to a minor extent.
Well, let me ask you this, guys, both of you. Would you ever keep a coach after 2 seasons who went 1-31?
That's probably a no from me, dog. if I'm going to be real.
Right. I was shocked that he stayed, and especially since Dorsey's new, and you're drafting your rookie quarterback. I'm just surprised he was in the room.
I think John Dorsey took the job knowing that for right now he was stuck with Hugh Jackson.
Can we talk about how the Browns have an assortment of probably the worst but somehow respected coaches of all time? Like Hugh Jackson, for some reason, I guess because he brought Andy Dalton to the playoffs 4 straight years, I think, before he was the head coach. And then Todd Haley, who is somehow responsible for ruining the Steelers' possible dynasty with Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, and Antonio Brown. And then Greg Williams, who is Greg Williams, but all somehow respected in the NFL. And all just combined together into one shitstorm of a blender. And then they put possibly the most charismatic guy in the NFL who needs coaching to rein him in, threw that in there, and John Dorsey said, give me some double bubble, and we're going to make this work. And they don't have a win yet.
Yeah, I honestly...
That's fair. But look, Todd Haley has won double-digit games in one season. He's actually coached in a playoff game. Greg Williams, look, I mean, the way it's looking, it could be an entirely different coaching regime in 2019, which doesn't do anything very well for this team because you can't keep changing the roster, can't keep changing the coaching staff. You just can't continue to keep doing it and expect for any recipe of success. But at the same respect, you cannot have a head coach who has zero respect around the entire NFL.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're going to talk about some Jets. I will say, I'm just going to call it now because when this happens, I want this to be on file. I'm already saying it, Lincoln Riley, head coach of the Cleveland Browns 2019. Just putting it out there.
No.
Putting it out there.
No. Why would you ever leave college football?
You got it. I'm making $8 to $9 million a year. I got to coach 12 to 13 to 14 games. And all I got to do is call some 5-star kid from Texas and say, hey, you want to come play at Oklahoma?
You don't think Lincoln Riley would leave to go be with Baker?
No. The NFL's – no. For one, he coached Baker for a year and a half, maybe, right? Maybe 2 years? I forget exactly when Baker transferred. But he had him for a year and a half. And
his most successful season.
Okay. Yes. Oklahoma has also had a lot of talent. For one, and this isn't against Baker or Lincoln Riley because I think they're both great in their respective
We don't
things.
have to debate. I'm just saying. I'm calling it right now. Lincoln Riley, head coach of the Cleveland Browns 2019. You can doubt it right now. I'm just saying it happened.
I disagree because I think Hugh Jackson will be retained. I don't think Greg Williams.
No freaking way Hugh Jackson.
I think the Browns are a good team. I think the Browns are a good team.
I do too, but even
I have them winning the division. So that should tell you what I think about them.
Well, barring they go to the playoffs, Hugh Jackson's fired. Even if Hugh Jackson went 8-8, I could totally see him getting fired. Which would be argued.
If they don't win Thursday night, Hugh Jackson may not have a job Friday. But no, I do agree 100%. Lincoln Riley should stay at Oklahoma. DeFilippo is probably more of the guy you're looking at. But here's the other thing, though. Lincoln Riley and Baker Mayfield, it was a nice run together. But now it's different. What happens when there's money involved? And Lincoln Riley, it's $20 million guaranteed. And at Baker, it's my second contract guaranteed. It's all good and cozy in college, and it works out really, really nice because, everybody's looking to get paid. But now when it's me versus you, and if something's not working right, that's not the relationship you want to have.
Do you guys? But wouldn't that be the same with any coach?
Yes,
it's different. But it's different when you already know the guy. It's different when you already know the guy. So that meshes.
You don't think that would help though? You don't think that
but what happens would help? What happens if they start 1-5?
Yeah, but what happens if they start 1-5 with DeFilippo or whatever?
Well, that's different. That's different though. There's no relationship there already because it's okay for a relationship where it's not close. Well, think about it this way. Let's put it this way. Once these two start working together in the NFL, if it doesn't work out, it's like your best friend just started dating your girl. Now there's more involved. It's more involved. If it's Baker Mayfield and a guy he's not familiar with, if it doesn't work out, it's a different story. If it's somebody you already work out with, it's only going to make the situation uglier.
Also, Ben, what I don't think you're accounting for is the perception that brings to the locker room that Lincoln Riley was brought there for one reason and one reason alone, and that's Baker Mayfield. And I think most NFL players might have a problem with that. Fans will definitely love that because they're like, okay, we're prioritizing, and probably the owners and GMs will love it too. They're prioritizing their number one pick, which I think is a fair move. But, you know, I don't feel like that locker room is going to be particularly great because everybody's going to think Baker as, you know, that guy that you don't want to be. Like the coaches, you know, a little parrot on his shoulder, you know, always
but
with
there's also the other. But there's also the other thing. It makes Baker Mayfield feel like, well, wait a minute, you know, I'm Baker, and Baker Mayfield already.
I don't need Lincoln Riley to succeed.
Thank you. Exactly, dude. I can succeed anywhere. And look, and what we saw the preseason, he was fine. He was absolutely fine. They could have said he was the starting quarterback, and you know, but they just stuck with the plan they had in place already.
I think Lincoln Riley, who I really do respect, and you know, learned under Stoops for 4 or 5 years. Well, how long was he the offensive coordinator at OU before Stoops?
This is supposed to be a very quick topic before we turn gears to the Jets, and now we talk about Lincoln Riley for like 7 minutes.
Ben, you know we always ramble, but Lincoln Riley has been doing a fantastic job with the program, had a really good, you know, game against Georgia, obviously fell short against that SEC defense. But he's doing a great job with Kyler Murray right now, who is, in my mind, one of the better quarterback prospects, but who won't be a prospect because you would be dumb to go to the NFL when you're already a secured top 10 pick in the MLB. Like, you literally already have a contract waiting for you, and you don't have to worry about any of those vicious hits or anything. I think he's good and gone to the MLB if he's smart, but if he's not, Kyler Murray will probably end up being a top 10 pick after the Combine.
No, he is absolutely set where he's at. He's going to play this 1 year. He's going to go off and play for the Oakland A's. But the thing for Lincoln Riley is, what you tell Lincoln Riley is, well, you have interest in the NFL? Well, go take a look at Chip Kelly. You want to start over again in
Nick
5
Saban.
years? And you, well, exactly. Well, you know, Nick, it was different because he was never an offensive guy. Chip Kelly, he kind of, you know, tried to think, that his scheme was going to work. And you want to know what? The athletes on defense in the NFL are just as good as the athletes on offense, if not better. And so that's why it's really nice to be where you're at, in a beautiful city where the sun shines. They pay you a shitload of money, and you ain't got to worry about the headache.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will say, I mean, while I am...
It's going to suck if Lincoln Riley is the next Browns head coach after this.
Well, I agree with some of the points you made. I'm just saying, I floated it out there. Somebody was talking about Lincoln Riley as a head coach next year in the NFL. I was like, I think Hugh Jackson might be on the way out. But yes.
People I've spoken said it's an absolute no-brainer. It's not happening. Lincoln Riley is 100% more than happy with what he's doing right now.
You know who might be the next Browns head coach? Willie Taggart.
Oh, my God. That guy is terrible.
Yeah. Cuse put.
I know. Saw him in
Cuse
person.
beat them.
3-0, baby.
God.
Oh, my God. All right.
If you guys don't know yet, Ben goes to Syracuse, just in case you guys didn't know that.
Kyle. I hate you. All right, let's bring it back to the Jets. All right, Sam Darnold. Jeff, let's talk about Darnold. Obviously, he has been impressive his first 2 weeks. Playing the Browns, I mean, you're a guy who probably thought Darnold was going to be your quarterback in Cleveland. What are your thoughts on his performance to start the season? Do you think there's going to be any added animosity towards Cleveland? I know he's stated publicly that there won't be, but do you think part of him will put on a show against Cleveland?
It's going to be interesting how it works because, I mean, it's going to be a tall task in front of them. And, look, I mean, there's a lot coming at Sam Darnold right now. And I think this was one reason why the Jets decided to start him right away because he's going to play 3 games in 10 days, and then he's going to get 10 days off. So he's going to be able to sit down and watch himself versus NFL teams. And you've seen a couple of hiccups, obviously, the interception against Detroit, the interception against Miami, and not the Terrell Pryor one. And I hope, Kyle, you put Terrell Pryor into your shit list for selling out Sam Darnold.
That was what I was going to talk about. Mike, all right, I'm asking you that afterwards. Right. My apologies. We got off on the Lincoln Riley tangent. Sorry, keep going about Sam Darnold, but I would like to bring up Terrell Pryor.
But Terrell Pryor, that was a punk route, and at least do something. Dive, tackle, do something to prevent that interception there. But no, but I like what I've seen from Sam, and I like the fact that it doesn't seem like anything's too big to him right now. I love the throw to Robbie Anderson because that was the one concern I had in the Detroit game. That was the one concern I had during the preseason is they didn't seem like they were letting Sam let it rip. You need to know who your deep guy is, and he saw that in the Detroit game. I think everything has gone really well to this point. Last week, I think it was a little bit of a crap move where it got like mid-second quarter and everybody was already looking around and kind of looking at Sam like, all right, well, we kind of need you to take this one home. I mean, guy's 21 years old, his first home start, his second NFL start, and you were kind of putting everything on his shoulders. But you kind of see it, though, because you have an offensive line, which is, and is the best way I can describe the offensive line in front of him right now. Obviously, there's some work to be done there. But he went out. He battled, threw for 300 yards. I mean, he fought till the end. I mean, you come away really impressed with what he's done to this point.
Yeah, no, undoubtedly. I mean, I
correct.
think he's the most exciting thing that's happened to Jets Nation, probably since those AFC championships. Now, we asked this to Travis Wingfield when he was on the podcast last week, talking about the Miami Dolphins. We'll start. Obviously, you have a vast knowledge of the Cleveland Browns and their team. And
it's unfortunate for you.
For listeners who don't, actually, wait a second. I forgot about Terrell Pryor again. Jeff, can you please, Terrell Pryor was a receiver in Cleveland. I mean, obviously, you know who he is, and you've watched him play. Kyle has stood by his point, and now he said no comment earlier because... No,
I said I plead the fifth.
Sorry, plead the fifth. My apologies. He said he pleads the fifth at the beginning of the podcast, but I wonder if his podfather comes in and knocks some sense into it. He might finally admit he's wrong. That's my biggest critique of Kyle. He doesn't admit when he's clearly wrong, and that he said that Terrell Pryor, he said this over the offseason, that Terrell Pryor is the best receiver on the Jets. Can you please explain to him why that is wrong? I've explained it. Scott Mason from the Play Like a Jet podcast has explained it. Practically every guest we've had on has explained it when we're talking about Terrell Pryor. People on Twitter will at the Jet Take and tell Kyle why he's wrong. So Jet,
every time Terrell Pryor gets a catch, I get like 20 mentions just about Terrell Pryor just immediately. I love the fan base on here.
Jeff, can you please just explain why he's wrong?
All right, Kyle, this is where I'm going to give you the mow the lawn moment. Terrell Pryor, he's not a wide receiver. He plays wide receiver. If you needed to know whether or not he was a wide receiver, you saw everything you needed to know on that interception that Darnold threw. And he's better than Quincy Enunwa. He's better than Robbie Anderson. You're screaming for more Jermaine Kearse. I'll be honest. If Terrell Pryor is still with this Jets roster by October, I'd be stunned. Terrell Pryor is about Terrell Pryor. This is the guy he is. He's always been this way. How are you the quarterback at Ohio State and there's a scandal involving tattoos and memorabilia and you're the one that gets caught up? How did he get caught up in that? Because Terrell Pryor cares about Terrell Pryor. Everybody else pointed the finger and said, oh, well, we all did it. Terrell Pryor, I didn't do nothing, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do nothing. And that's how it trust me, he's fool's gold, Terrell Pryor. Fool's gold.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, Jeff, back to what I was
still, I mean, shit to me. Terrell Pryor, best wide receiver on
Kyle, at this point, Kyle is just egging everybody on. So we're not even going to acknowledge it anymore. We can probably retire it. Kyle is wrong. Well, I do think Terrell Pryor, I don't actually necessarily agree that. I think he could last till the end of the season, and I think he wasn't, that route was thoroughly disappointing, but, I mean, he had some nice moments. He was exactly what I thought he was. And not to quote Dennis Green there, but I think he is your fourth wide receiver. He's going to get a few touchdowns this year. He's going to catch a few touchdown passes. He's going to have a few nice games and whatnot. But he's not your consistent, number one wide receiver that somehow Kyle thinks he is. He's the fourth guy who will catch a few touchdowns this year, maybe in the red zone and try to use his frame. But I mean,
I can
argue about using his frame. Sorry.
Kyle wants to give him a lot of credit for, the one great year on a crappy-ass Browns team. If you want to look at the resume, he's done nothing. He turned down 3 years, $20 million to bet on himself. How'd that work out, big guy?
I mean,
pretty poorly.
Basically tore his foot in half. I can't really think you can judge a receiver on that.
Oh, my God. All right, let's move on. All right. Jeff, an area that this Jets team needs to attack looking at Cleveland tomorrow, is there a particular position
group 401k?
If you're Todd Bowles, that you think this is what I'm going to try to attack, the Browns' weakness, essentially?
The biggest concern I do have in this game is the size of the Jets wide receivers. All of them, not just Terrell Pryor, but, obviously, Jermaine Kearse. He's already one guy that schooled the Cleveland Browns last year. But Terrell Pryor, obviously, Quincy Enunwa, The secondary, Denzel Ward, he's looked really good so far. He's not huge in stature. I think him and Robbie Anderson, I think that he's going to man up on Robbie Anderson, try to take away the deep routes. But, I mean, if you're Sam Darnold and, you're a rookie quarterback, I'm going to call a couple of plays where, look, just throw it up. I think we got size advantage. The rest of the secondary, the cornerbacks especially, they're not very – I mean, some of them have some length to them, but they're not big guys. They're not built like Tremaine Johnson where they're solidly built corners. And I think if you're going to try and throw a couple of jump balls, I do have concerns about, the rest of this cornerback crew covering these guys just due to the fact that they're, pretty big physical guys, and they should be able to win if the defensive line doesn't get home and Sam gets enough time to throw these balls. That's something I'm very concerned about.
Thank you, Jeff. I think, on this podcast, specifically Ben, we're always told that size doesn't matter, but I 100% agree with you that the Jets wide receiver core is their biggest weapon, and we talked about it last week with Travis Wingfield, that fuck who got the win. The Jets need to utilize this rare speed, athletic ability that they have at every wide receiver position, starting with Quincy and Terrell Pryor, who are just beasts of nature, rare individuals who are tall, strong, built well, can catch a ball, or have everything, basically, not to basically go down the whole combine thing there, but you have to work those guys. And then Robbie, with his speed and his height, is a mismatched nightmare for most NFL corners. I honestly don't think any NFL corner can really run with him in a straight line. Obviously, you don't run in a straight line and you get physical, but Robbie's gotten better with that as time's gone on. And then Jermaine Kearse, who doesn't have necessarily the same, stature as everybody, is just reliable and can take a hit. He's one of those guys that you trust in the middle of the field to take the lick and catch the ball. It's rare what the Jets have, and I was really hoping they would attack the middle of the field last week against the Dolphins, and they just didn't do it. And I don't see that opportunity this week with the Browns because they have a significantly better linebacking core than the Miami Dolphins, which isn't saying much. But Denzel Ward and then the guy from the Packers, Demarius
Randall. He's barely practiced this week, though, so there's a good shot Demarius Randall might not play tomorrow night, and that is crucial because the next guy up at free safety is Green Body Calhoun, who played 5 snaps versus New Orleans, and the only reason he played 5 snaps versus New Orleans is because he got beat like a rented mule against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't know why that made me laugh. All right. On the flip side of that question, though, Joe.
Somebody just went down my road doing like 100.
Yeah.
They wildin', man. These Florida streets.
It's Robbie Anderson. Jeff,
I'll tell you what, though. I think Denzel Ward can handle Robbie Anderson on the 9 routes. I do think.
I would hope so.
Strength of his game. And you got to think about it, though. But why would a cornerback get drafted at 4? That's normally what
I like to pick.
A little high.
I really like to pick.
But that's what you think, though, is he can handle the guy from the big plays. You don't mind if a cornerback can give up the stuff underneath and it's 3, 4, 5. But if you're drafting a cornerback that high, they had a lot of faith in him that he can contest the deep balls.
Does Denzel Ward wear a visor?
He does.
When he plays? All right, he'll be fine then.
Pretty sure he does.
An area that the Jets should look out for, nobody.
Ooh, David Njoku.
Really, nobody.
Nah.
Nobody understood the visor joke. Kyle, I'm thoroughly disappointed that you either didn't get it or didn't laugh. It's whatever. I'm not even going to go back.
I thought it was. I wasn't sure if it was a joke or you just thought that visors aren't good for corners. Is it like a
Nut
Dean
in
Milner
her
thing?
eye, Kyle. Jesus, come on. It was. We're talking about, there you go. There you go. He's there. He's with it.
He's going to need some windshield wiper.
Yes, that's why I said hide your eyes. All right, now we're on the same
Jeff,
page.
if you didn't get it, I don't know if you've gotten the joke yet.
We're not going
No, I'm going to have to explain. We've already said Kim Kardashian may put out a sex tape. We're fine. I don't know if you remember, but Robbie Anderson apparently told the cop that he nut in the cop's wife's eye.
He got it. He got it. He just didn't laugh.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. I'm not hurting anything.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a family.
Better.
He's got a family, so.
It could have been, but, I don't claim to be a comedian, so it's fine. It's
claim to be talented.
I don't even claim that, honestly. Very mediocre podcast host. Things that the Jets should look out for in a position group that that if the Jets aren't careful, can bite them tomorrow night.
Oh, wrong way signs on the highway.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the answer to that question, it's simple. The Jets' offensive line, I had Connor Rogers today, and we were talking about it. I said, Connor, who is the best offensive lineman on the New York Jets?
Brandon
and he said
Shell.
Brandon Shell.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's great.
And shut your mouth. That's your long. Shut your mouth.
But the worst thing you ever want to say about a team's offensive line is that the best performer on that offensive line is your right tackle.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look, Myles Garrett is an absolute freak. He's an athlete now learning technique. Larry Ogunjobi now is a freak who's learning
technique. Is that how you say his name? Ogunjobi?
Ogunjobi, yes.
Man.
It almost like it's spelled. And then Jannard Avery is another guy.
I'm sorry, but if we lose to a guy named Ogunjobi, I mean, do we really deserve to be?
Ogunjobi's got 3 sacks through two games.
We lost to a guy named Tannehill last week, all right? I think we're already on edge.
And the best part about his game is his wife. So that's who you lost to last week, yes.
Wait, which one? He's been divorced already.
Oh, my God. Is Lauren gone?
Yeah, Lauren's been gone for a few. Jeff, where have you been?
Yeah, okay.
Lauren's been out of the picture.
I don't change players' lives, but does anybody have her at?
Whoa, Mrs. Lloyd, get in the room.
Hey,
your husband's wild and out.
Hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, boy.
Mrs. Lloyd would appreciate that.
14 jaw-dropping photos of Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, my God. I don't know what website you're on, Kyle.
That's on CBS Sports.
Wow.
Okay, so where are we at here, guys?
Bro, she's got big teeth. Oh, my God. Robbie Anderson's got a target right here.
Oh, my God, Kyle.
I don't even, Jeff, I'm so, normally I can somewhat segue, but I already told Kyle before the show.
She's wearing pants. She's wearing pants, and on her ass it says, "It's okay to share." What the
Okay, Kyle, rein it in a little bit. Help me out.
So you guys record for, 3 hours, and Scott Mason puts up about, 20 minutes of it?
Scott Mason does nothing.
Scott Mason does nothing.
For that.
We are an independently run country. We're like Puerto Rico. Somewhat, and we just Kyle's the hurricane.
They refuse to send water and food to us when we really need it most. So
we upload our own thing, and they just occasionally plug it. No, I'm kidding. Tio's just been very nice to us. But no, I told Kyle for the show.
Can we put Joe's head on Trump, just tossing the toilet paper at the people, and it's just me and you in the crowd, and we're just struggling to catch it. It's we get one retweet.
No. I told Kyle before the show, I was like, Kyle, I'm tired.
Actually, we're more like China because we get so much from TOJ. We're almost better than them.
What?
Because China sucks our economy dry, and we give them money, and then when we make something against them, people are like, oh, you're leaving China out to dry, even though they literally hold our fucking throats in the economy. That's whatever. It's cool.
Jeff, I don't even know how to combat this. Well, Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will say, I want to make this is on the spot because you've been on the show a few times now. Other times were probably better, but it's fine. This is just how we do it on the Jet Take podcast. We talked.
Let Kyle out of the cage. That's what it was going to happen.
I made that mistake, a while ago, and we should have just kept him under wraps, pretended that he was a normal co-host. But this is the Kyle that's.
This is the real Kyle.
This is the real Kyle. Jeff, you're obviously a grilled cheese connoisseur. You firmly believe in mayonnaise.
Forgot about that.
On grilled cheese instead of butter. I think we should put together a friendly wager about this game tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you willing to listen? And I'm willing to adjust this wager because it's coming to me right now. So I don't. This might be a bad first draft, but Kyle, Jeff, feel free to help me out. I think if the Jets win, I think one, you have to tweet out a photo of you eating a grilled cheese with butter on it, and two, you have to say that it's better than mayonnaise.
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
put it in your bio. Butter grilled cheese is the way to go. You can't change it for a month. For a month, you have to convince people that you believe in buttered grilled cheeses.
No, that's
why would you can't lie in a wager? I mean, you're wagering something, and you have to give something up. But to tell a lie is not the way you cover up a wager.
You could have changed your opinion.
No, I would never change my opinion. I'm 44 years old.
I think if the Jets
You're
win, you have.
44?
Yes, I'm 44. Goddammit.
Christ.
And
I've got not gotten.
Awkward silence.
Well, did you think he was younger or older? What was?
Kyle, I'm not a woman. You're not going to offend me, dude.
I thought you were a little younger than that. I was going to guess.
I will say, Jeff,
38
your
or
new
39.
profile picture makes you look younger. You got the nice.
That's a lie.
He's got the glasses. He's got the what's it called? Why can't I think of the word for it? Not a beanie, but
the golf hat.
To guess it's a golf hat, right, Jeff?
Yeah, the Three Stooges wore it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, seriously, golf hat.
Golf hat.
Golf hat.
Listen, the fashion we have today are no belts on our pants. All right, we've never claimed to be the fashion capital.
No, actually, no. What that picture is my daughter saying, "Dad, you can't wear baseball hats to social events anymore." So they went out and bought me hats.
Hey, no offense, but your daughter's out of. I'm not going to cross lines with daughters. I'm not going to insult your daughter.
I was about to.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to cross the line there. But your daughter's wrong there. You can wear baseball hats to any social norm.
Oh, yes. And one day you're going to get married, and you're going to have a family, and there's going to be things that are not allowed.
Kyle's destined for... All right.
My husband and I will raise smart children, okay? We're not going to have this problem.
Yes, you and your mail-order bride from Uruguay will do whatever you choose.
It's Chile, okay?
Wait,
you son of
okay,
a
bitch. Hold on.
The exchange rate's a little cheaper?
It's actually. They don't come with the whole hostage thing, so it's easy.
All right, hold on. Jeff, we've got to figure out this wager for tomorrow. We're running out of time on this podcast. What do you think is a fair way? I think that you changing your opinion about grilled cheeses for just 1 month. You have to pretend like you changed your opinion.
No.
And only the people who've listened to the podcast.
That's like a Casey Anthony level crime, dude.
Oh, okay, that was it. Just one photo. One photo of you eating grilled cheese with butter on it.
Okay, can we make it more funny? I know, like, the one thing you know about Jeff is that he, runs Locked On Browns and that he likes mayo on his grilled cheese. But can we be a little more creative, please?
Feel free to help me out, Kyle. And Jeff,
I feel really bad about saying this, but Kyle is right now. Oh my God, Kyle is right.
What am I supposed to attack you? I'm not going to go after your family here. Okay, I went after the grilled cheese thing. That was,
I'm not going to go after your family.
Well, what do you want here? So it's not like, that's the thing, though. You're trying to make a wager deal here. And
I said it was going to be bad. I'm looking, Jeff, help me out. What should the wager be?
I got it.
Should I send you a tub of mayo if the Browns win?
Mayo's always appreciated. Go ahead, Kyle. What do you got?
Should I just send him a large jar of mayo if the Browns win? Is that?
I want you.
Feel like we can do better here.
I want you. I feel like both of our franchises can do better, but I want you in depth, Jeff, on Twitter to make a whole thread about how Michael Kendricks is not a criminal. I want data to support it. I want pie charts. I want profit made. I want federal time usually given to first-time offenders who have, a solid history and are terrible. No, fuck you, Ben. First of all, you just told him to have no mayo on his grilled cheese, all right? That's like...
I'm sorry, but I'm team butter.
Oh,
I just wanted to piss him off.
I just muted Ben. You're welcome. So what you're going to do, you're going to give me a pie chart about money made, income, all sorts of stuff. Like, let's compare it to the Martha Stewart thing, and then how she rebounded with making brownies with Snoop Dogg. I want Michael Kendricks to be promoting Alberto beef jerky out in Seattle, because apparently every Seattle player does that. Ben, shut up.
If mine was bad, yours is worse. Jeff, help us out here.
Guys, there's really no wager to be had. We're going to have some fun. But look, the only thing Michael did, he lied. He didn't tell them, and he said he did. So, and now you got to keep in mind, and you talked earlier about Jimmy Haslam. Did you think Michael Kendricks showing up with an insider trading rap on his sheet was going to stick with Jimmy Haslam? Yeah, he had to go. That was where the owner's like,
didn't think about that.
Thank you, guys. Dude, wait, you're bringing feds here? Yeah, you got to go, and you got to go right now.
Yeah, they knocked on one Browns drive, and they're like, yeah, we have a warrant to search Michael Kendrick's roster. We want to see every contract, you guys ever
Meanwhile,
given.
Jimmy Haslam's old ass is one leg out of a window going, oh, crap, there's feds here. No, we're backer.
Him and the dog that just roams around the office just went for a jog mysteriously when the FBI started knocking on the door. It's like, oh, why are all these checks, signed by Jimmy Haslam? We don't think that's a coincidence of any means.
But, yeah, you don't think a guy who just went through the trials he went through was not, like, hanging out the window and, like, their feds are here? Oh, man. Well, it's about a linebacker. I don't need to know his name. Get him the fuck out of here.
Get him out. Get him out. He was a light skin anyway. Get him out.
No, but it's like the kid you hang out with in high school. It's like, oh, yeah, dude, we'll go have pizza or whatever, and that's cool. What are you guys doing tonight? Your dad's a cop, right? Yeah, no, we're not doing anything tonight. I got to study. No, nobody's doing anything. Nobody's hanging. Yeah,
wait.
Right?
Okay, for one, I have friends whose dads are cops. In fact, I have a friend whose dad is the chief of police, but they're usually the ones who are most active.
No, that's the ace in the hole. You got to be careful about that.
No, because they're the ones who get the call to tell you when the cops are coming to shut down the party.
No, that's the one who gets his kid the fuck out of the party and leaves everybody freaking else there.
No, because the kid tells his friends, and then their friends, the whole telephone chain.
I don't even know what happened to this podcast.
Ben, you don't go to parties. You don't get to include on this. Yeah.
Really? All right.
No, you went to one Syracuse Rager for FSU, and you played beer pong with 4 people. All right? I don't want to hear anything.
Not true at all, but okay.
No, man.
Ben gets so offended when I attack his social life.
When you get older...
Well, I am sitting here in a recording studio at 10 p.m., so...
Yeah.
When you get older, you want friends who are cops. You got to be careful when you're younger, though. Because...
Yeah, that way when they pull you over, you don't get ratted on.
Well, you get pulled over, and it's like, oh, you're Steve's kid, right? Get the fuck out of the car. Oh, the rest of you, hey, what's going on? How are you guys? It reeks in here.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, I
think Josh Gordon action.
Hypothetical.
All hypothetical.
All right, Jeff, we'll close on this. I want one bold prediction about tomorrow night's game, and then your score prediction. And
are the Jets wearing color rush? Are they going to go like
they're wearing white jerseys, green pants.
Ew.
I think they'll wear color rush.
Wear the whites. Wear the whites. Everybody.
I thought they should as well. Definitely. They 100% should have worn the all white.
Browns are wearing their Hershey chocolates. The Browns are wearing their Hershey chocolates, so
those
the
things
Jets
are
should go all white.
Yeah, the Jets should go all white. That is their reverse color rush, but they're trying to, since it's the last year of their new uniforms, I guess they're trying to wear different. I don't know. They definitely should go all white again because they're going to wear the all white again.
Let's remind everybody that when the Jets had the the Bills Jets colorblind game, Ben's dad couldn't see who the game was. If Ben told me that, I was like, you gotta be fucking joking.
No, my dad's colorblind, but he could tell. He could tell.
I feel bad for the red-green colorblind.
He is red-green colorblind, but he could still. I mean, he understood. Well, I mean, he's not stupid. You could see that.
I remember Matt.
If you're a representation of his parenting, I think he's stupid.
No, but I remember Matt Miller from Bleacher Report was complaining about the same thing. He was like, it's just really hard. He's like, you can follow the ball. He's like, but it's really hard because everything looks fucking gray. So, I do remember that, yeah. But no, just wear the white.
Wait. Are you colorblind?
No, he said Matt.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I'm sorry. I was shooting a DM, okay? If I'm going to be dead ass with you guys, I was shooting a DM, and I remember the game being gray.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even, Jeff.
Which Kardashian are you DMing?
It's actually a cheerleader at USF, so.
Yeah, just save it. It's not going to happen, big guy.
Wow, it's tough.
Jeff,
I'm your dad. I got to be honest with you, Kyle.
Back on topic.
All right, we need a bold prediction tomorrow. Nick Chubb will finally be featured for the Cleveland Browns and will run north of 80 yards. He will run for north of 80 yards, and this is what this Browns offense needs. Carlos Hyde, I like him. He's a good player, but he's an emergency break running back. He's got no gas to him. You got to go ahead and put Nick Chubb out here. And look, Hugh Jackson, Josh Gordon should have a good night. I don't know. I think it's legal in New England and Mass where he's at. So, hey, he may not even make the Sunday night game against Detroit or whatever. I know they're playing them Sunday. But, good jokes for another day. But, no, Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb, it's going to be they're going to take the new car sticker off. They're going to take that stupid Christmas bow off, and they're going to let the new car go out there and show that, that's the legitimate way that this team can function right now by running the ball first.
I'll just say I wouldn't mind Tyrod Taylor going down just to watch the Mayfield versus Darnold. Actually, well, as a Jets fan, I want Taylor in there. Well, not like seriously. Maybe a sprained ankle, like as a football fan, but as a Jets fan, I probably want Tyrod to stay.
It's funny, though, because a lot of us, with the Browns community, it was like everybody, it's going to be Tyrod, this, that, and the other thing. And I had there was one dude, and he's actually a stand-up comedian, but he's big within the Browns Twitter. He's lifelong Ohio resident, and he's like, I don't know, I'm just going to roll the dice. He's like, call me an asshole because I'm a comedian. I see Tyrod getting hurt week 3 in preseason. All this is going to work itself out. And then, dude, not even 6 days later did Tyrod almost freaking break his wrist in the week 3 preseason game. It was like, oh, my God. And he even jumped in. He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean this. He's like, oh, boy. But it was just funny. He goes, I give Tyrod till week 3 in the preseason, and Tyrod almost went down. Look, I mean, he runs around a lot. He takes stupid hits. He almost like Eli Manning like that. Like he doesn't realize when to get down. It's not a crazy possibility that the hand may force itself that Baker Mayfield ends up playing because he has to.
Yeah, personally, if I had to put a prediction on, I think that's when you'll see Baker first is after a Tyrod Taylor injury. I don't think.
If gun to your head, yeah, that would probably have the choice you had to make.
All right, score prediction. Who wins?
23-19 Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
A little odd score. Oh, I don't think that. No. Well, here's the thing, though. I will preface this on this. Marius Randall, who is questionable, I think they'll be okay if he doesn't play. Jarvis Landry is questionable. I don't think there's any way in hell Jarvis Landry and the personality and the persona this guy carries is not playing in this game. But if he doesn't play, I don't even know if the Browns will be able to score in double-digit points. But I think if he plays, I think they can score enough points. The problem is they kind of give up points later in the game. I'm telling you, this defensive front versus this Jets O-line, if it was a Sunday game, maybe I'd give the Jets O-line a little bit more of a breathing room and I'd feel a little bit more confident about it. But the least athletic Browns defensive lineman is like 6 or 7 deep before you even get into how confident you feel about this Jets offensive line right now.
Is it Caleb Brantley? Is he still on that team?
No, Caleb Brantley got moved on. We got rid of that piece of crap gator.
All right, Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I forgot you were an FSU fan.
Oh, yes, Jeff, my sincere...
Dude, none of us are talking... Dude, bro, there is no way any of us are talking college football right now.
All right, well, from...
FSU sucks, Florida lost...
Live from Syracuse, my sincerest condolences for last Saturday.
All right, you
watched it in person.
You can have a little bit of fun with it. But Kyle, yeah, we're not talking college football. We're not doing that right now. There's just no way it works out for anybody.
Yeah, I forgot we're all kind of rivals here, I guess, because we got that FSU and Syracuse got that.
Whoa! Syracuse is not a rival of anybody.
Oh no! I was getting to it's more the Florida versus Florida State thing, but at least Syracuse dunked on Florida State this past weekend, and they have the ACC.
We're having some fun. Yes, and way to get slipped that in there one more time. The best part is I do think Willie Taggart is a fantastic hire, but the one thing Jimbo Fisher never focused on, and that's why he ran, is he never focused on offensive line. It's great to have all the skill in the world, but skill needs people to do things. And these guys wouldn't even make it as bouncers. They'd have the guys have to check the ID at the front because if a fight broke out, everybody'd slip past them.
Yeah, no, I watched that game, and it was literally just every single play. And I watched, I'm trying to remember what
and I'll tell you right now, when everyone tried to give Francois a hard time,
yeah.
You know what, dude? You ain't blocked a soul all night, and I'm on my ass again. Don't you dare freaking offer to help me up. And I agree 100% with it. Because somebody's got to make a statement.
Jeff, before we let you go, we're going to give you a chance to shout out your plugs. But before you do, is there any way we salvage this wager? Maybe just eat a grilled cheese sandwich with butter, post it on Twitter.
I've done that a million times. I mean, I go to diners. I'm sure I probably eat the
Well, is there something we can figure out?
I think we're working really hard on
to a social event.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Tweet at us. You have approximately 22 hours. If you're listening to this podcast, tweet at us. If we have a good idea, we'll send it Jeff's way, and we can try to make it happen. Because I will say the Jets are going to win this game on Thursday. But Jeff,
we'll see.
Oh boy,
plug.
We'll see.
The opportunity for you to plug is yours right now. So just even though 99% of our listeners are Jets fans, if they'd like to follow your work, where can they find you?
Well, obviously, guys, I've done a ton of this week. I can still talk Jets at any time, so it's been fun this week. For the Locked On Brown podcast, anywhere you follow and listen to your podcast. But it's a ton of football. It is a ton of draft, as Kyle knows. That's absolutely my passion. It's just led me to this type of road, and which is kind of why I chose to follow the Cleveland Browns. It was a team on the rebuilding a roster. John Buchko hosts Locked On Jets, and he's been there for like over 2.5 years, so I don't think I could get that son of a gun out of his job. So, but it was cool. It was something new, though. You feel different, invigorated when you take on something that's not something you're totally familiar with. And you guys, when you continue to do this, you're going to end up doing something where you get out of your comfort zone. And you get passionate about it, you feel different, and you got to work a little harder, work a little differently. So it's been fun from that respect. And the weirdest thing, and maybe this is why I keep telling everybody, I keep predicting the Browns are going to win. Guys, my first podcast for Locked On Browns was September 22nd, 2017. If the Browns do not win tomorrow night, I will have gone for a full calendar year as host of this show, about talking about a regular season win. So I need it bad. The show needs it bad. The team certainly needs it bad. The fan base certainly needs it bad. So that's part of where we go with that. But also follow me at Jeff_LJ_Lloyd. Guys, I just want to say, you guys have come really far, man. I mean, you guys, I've been talking with you guys for a couple of years now. Kyle,
in which direction?
Well, no, the show is better. Kyle's voice has dropped, which is nice. He actually sounds like, he sounds like my pod son now. I won't give him such a hard time to mow the lawn. You guys are doing a great job, man, and you've kept this going for a while now. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I promise that I guess tonight's show is not our typical show, but Jeff,
well, you guys, you want to know what else it shows? It shows you're getting older, and you can have a little more fun with it. And look, you guys know I got zero issue screwing around. So,
yeah. Jeff, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have you on again at some point where the Jets are playing the Browns in the playoffs. That's not going to happen, but probably next year draft season. I think draft season we'll have you on around there.
How about that? I tell you what. How about if Josh Gordon's still a factor during any Jets-Patriots game, we'll find a few minutes.
All right, I like that. That's a good deal to come to. Jeff, thank you for coming on and babysitting Kyle for about.
No, I'm done. His voice has dropped, dude. He's got his own opinions. He's chasing Kardashians. Kyle, dude,
big facts.
Wreak havoc and prosper, my friend.
Thank you. I try.
Somebody's got to live. Somebody's got to live.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great night.
Again, that was Jeff Lloyd from the Locked On Browns podcast. Kyle, I guess we'll end it here. Interesting show, to say the least. I got to say, my energy is just way more down on the East Coast here, doing the show this late. I have to give you props.
Ben, there are things on the East Coast that we can't do that people on the West Coast can do.
No, it's more that I'm used to doing this show 5 to 7, 8 to 10. I mean, woe is me. No,
tired. And then I have to go upload.
Got to get adjusted. I'll say I now understand why the Jets are so bad when they travel out west. This time difference. I've been here for a month, and doing a show at 10:10 at night is like tiring for me. Even though I've been up like pretty late every night. Because Kyle, I have a social life. I'm just kidding. I've been like working. All right, we'll wrap it up there. I guess our predictions. Kyle, I'll start with you. One bold prediction and the score.
Oh boy. A bold prediction. Terrell Pryor gets a touchdown against his former team.
I like it.
And final score, oh man. Jets 20, Browns 13.
All right, I'm going to give you another poll prediction. Sam Darnold will have 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and 0 interceptions.
Oh.
And the Jets will win this game by 2 possessions. I'm going to go 27-13.
All right. So what you're saying is we're going to lose by a lot.
Actually, I will say the one time I said the Jets are going to lose, because I normally say they're going to win, even though they don't. They
won.
Okay, never mind. The Jets are going to get destroyed.
Yep.
Thursday night. It's a cold game. They're on the road. It's a short
Yep.
week. Sam Darnold's a rookie. He's going to turn over the ball a bunch. The Jets are going to lose. All right. We'll wrap it up there. Again, you can follow our show at The Jet Take on Twitter. You can find us. That's the best place to find all our content. You can listen to our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We're Spotify. We're all over the place. Just search The Jet Take. And, of course, you can find our content at turnofthejets.com, the best place to go for Jets coverage. Kyle, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back next week, hopefully, with a little more energy. But we'll leave you with the best
This was a great
chant.
episode.
I guess so. We'll leave you with the best chant in the National Football League. Everybody have a safe week. Hopefully the Jets get a win tomorrow, and we'll be back next Wednesday talking Jets versus Jags.
Kourtney Kardashian is the best Kardashian.